Hi everybody, Barbara Drazgi here, aka The Deal Diva, and today we are going to talk about all things Amazon and wholesale. Well, maybe not all things, because I can only fit so much in, an hour training or so. But today we're going to talk about how I use niche markets to find products on Amazon that I can then go find wholesale suppliers for, the brand owners for, and sell their product. I have a list of specific criteria that I'm going to share with you in this training. And then I'm going to go on Amazon and just cold, I'm going to show you how I do it without using any expensive paid tools, anything. Because if you can do this manually, then once you ramp up your business and start getting some cash flow in, then you can pay for the tools. But you don't, you can start simple and start small. And I'm going to show you how today to find products that you can source wholesale that sell on Amazon based on a set of criteria. So the first thing I want to do is, if you're watching me on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel, and there's a little bell down there too. Go ahead and click on that bell and you will get a little ding on your phone or your computer anytime I put up some new videos. And I'm going to be doing a series of videos on how to start a wholesale business on Amazon. So I'll be doing some more free training on this topic. So be sure you click that bell so you can get alerted when I post up those videos and do the training. The next thing I'd like you to do is go to www.freewholesalenewsletter.com. I publish a newsletter for Amazon sellers, and it's also good for non-Amazon sellers. If you haven't started on Amazon yet and you're fairly new to e-commerce, sign up for freewholesalenewsletter.com, and it's all things wholesale, sourcing products wholesale to sell on websites, including Amazon, e-commerce sites, your own website, eBay, etc. So freewholesalenewsletter.com, go ahead and pop in your email. And after you pop in your email, it's going to take you to a survey. So you get to tell me the things that you want, like what are your burning questions about selling on Amazon, about sourcing products wholesale. So you'll get to take that survey and tell me what you want to know. And that will help me know what types of videos to make and what content to share with you in these trainings. So go ahead to freewholesalenewsletter.com and sign up, and you'll be on my email list and start getting my content. And again, I'm Barbara Drazga, aka The Deal Diva. You can also find me on Facebook.com/groups/Deal Diva and post any questions you want in there, and also in the chat on YouTube, and I will do my very best to answer them in a timely fashion. So today we're going to talk about wholesale. Now, you don't need any experience to be in this training today on selling wholesale on Amazon. You could be an arbitrager, a private label seller, right? Somebody who's fairly new to the Amazon platform. I'm going to cover how I find opportunities on Amazon in the old school way, right? So the first thing that I like to do is I don't like to do what everybody else is doing. So there are a lot of trainings out there. There are a couple of really big courses on there on how to sell wholesale on Amazon, and they all teach the same techniques, right? So everybody who's taken these courses is using those same techniques. Well, I just want to tell you that there are a lot of ways to find products to sell on Amazon. And today we're going to talk about niches, which is one of my favorites. So focusing on a niche, and a niche, if you don't know what it is, how do I define a niche? Somebody drop the definition of niche in the chat so I can have you guys interact a little bit. So a niche would be like a market that has a specific need or passion. All right. So I look for, let's see, Scott says the audio is very low. I was able to turn my speakers up all the way and now I can hear. Oh, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Say yes in the chat if you can hear me. I just want to make sure we don't go any further if nobody can hear me, because that would be a bad thing, right? Okay, good. So it looks like maybe somebody just needed to turn up their speakers. Good stuff. Okay, so let me keep going. There we go. Okay, so Helen Mayer, I love you. You're awesome. She's one of my regulars, denoting or relating to products, services, or interests that appeal to a small, specialized section of the population. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm not going to scream. I just turned up my audio as much as I can, just because I'm getting over bronchitis, and we don't want me to lose my voice before this training is done. So here's what I like. Here are the kind of niches I like. Now, I saw a survey or something just yesterday in one of the groups where somebody ranked the most. There was an article on the most popular categories to sell in on Amazon, And what do you think the #1 category is, especially as we go into fourth quarter? The #1 hottest category to sell products in is, drop it in the chat. There we go. Toys, 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 and games. So what do you think I'm not going to search in today? Toys and games, because everybody starts there, right? And everybody starts with the same set of criteria that is taught in multiple courses. You know, look for $20 and up products. And so I like to do things a little bit outside of the box. Okay, so I'll look for, some of my criteria are, I want non-sexy products, which are usually not in the toys and games, right? They'll be like air filters for cars, or actually used to sell these Electrolux filters for vacuum cleaners. So something really, really niche and unsexy. Office supplies, right? Office lamps. That isn't the starting point for most sellers. They're going to go for the sexy things, you know, the baby products and pet products and groceries and toys and games are where a lot of people start. I like starting in the categories like, it used to be called business and industrial. Things that business people need, for example. That's really niche, right? Because when businesses buy things, they don't care so much about the price, because it's usually not their money they're spending. It's their corporation that's spending the money. They just want to solve their problem, for example. And then I look for consumable products. So for instance, how many of you have a printer in your office of any kind, right? So the consumable piece of that printer, there's a couple different consumables. The paper, and by consumable, I mean you consume it, you use it, and then you need to buy more. I like that kind of product. So the ink and the toner. Now, I'm not saying that that's something that you should go source, but I'm trying to give you an idea of what a consumable is. So as an Amazon and an e-commerce seller, we do a lot of shipping. So shipping supplies in my world are consumable. We go through a lot of poly bags and shipping labels, etc. So, and Dymo labels. So these are things I'm going to have to buy over and over. So that's one of my niche market criteria. So we've got non-sexy products, consumable, and then I like what I call mashups, where they meet multiple criteria together. So another criteria is, do they need this product and do they want the product? So they need it and they want it. That's a mashup. Let me give you an example. So I was in my kitchen making some tea before I came in here, and on the kitchen counter are multiple bottles of different flavors of olive oil. Now, I love to cook and I love to make food, and you know, I love truffles, and there's lemon and truffles and basil olive oil, oh my, right? So I've got all these different flavors out there, and in my brain, I need all of those flavors, because if I'm having chicken, I want the lemon on it, and if I'm having shrimp, I want the garlic on it. So I need them in order to feed my passion of cooking. In addition, I want them because I like to cook. So you've got my passion, a need, and a want kind of mixed up together. So it's not like, oh, I got to go buy some olive oil in order to cook. No, I need olive oil and I like the different flavors. So you've got me hooked on a need and a want, and triple whammy, triple mashup, it's consumable. So at some point I'm going to run out of the garlic one and have to replenish it, right? Okay, so those are my ideas for my criterias for looking for products to sell that I can source wholesale. So here's what we're going to do today. We could easily fire up, use a couple of different tools, and I'll tell you what some of the tools I use that are not paid or they're really, really reasonably priced. I'll show you how I use them. You can go and get Helium 10 is a really powerful tool. Jungle Scout is a power tool. Ace Inspector Pro, a powerful tool. If you're not there yet and you're not quite ready to do searching inside of a piece of software and you're just getting started, that's what I'm going to show you today. So when you're ready for the deeper tools, you can make this process I'm going to show you today really super lightning fast when you finally get a paid tool. But for today, I'm going to show you manually how to do it, so you can get started right away finding products that you can go find wholesale suppliers for. So today was manual, but keep in mind, you can automate. Everything I'm going to show you today can be automated with a paid tool like Helium 10. All right, so here are some of the tools that I use. I'm going to go ahead and switch my screen. Let me first take a look at the chat and make sure there's no issues with the audio or the video before I switch over to Amazon and show you some of the absolute must-have, really inexpensive tools that make my browsing on Amazon give me immediate information to short circuit my time. So let's see, toys, need cartridges, over and over. Okay, it looks like everybody's on board and can hear me. So let me switch over to sharing my screen to Amazon. There we go. So tell me in the chat that you can see my screen. Tell me that you can see my screen, my Amazon screen. Can you see red? It says add Alexa to more places. Put yes in the chat if you can see my Amazon.com. Yes, good. Thank you, thank you. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Oh, by the way, do me a favor and in the chat, tell me, are you 1, brand spanking newbie to Amazon, 2, you've been selling a while, maybe you're still doing arbitrage, but you're learning wholesale, or 3, you are all in wholesale. So brand spanking newbie, you're doing some arbitrage, retail and online, and or number 3, you're like full on wholesale. Awesome. Selling a while, never wholesale, all in wholesale, doing some arbitrage, 2, 3. Really good mix of people here. We got some newbies in here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so we've got a great mix of people in here. This training is for all of you. Okay, I'm not going to leave anybody in the dust, I promise. Okay, so my cat is singing in the background. Let me shut the door. Megan is, she sings. It's pretty funny. Yeah, she's hard of hearing, so she stands up against a window and she vocalizes so she can hear herself. It's actually kind of cute, but not when you're doing a webinar. So here we go. So we're on Amazon. What was I going to show you? Right. So before we get started, let me just show you like some of the tools that I use that you're going to see come up on the screen, and you're going to say, hey, what's that? So on listings, I've got a tool called Rev Seller. This guy right here. Do you see this thing here? Whoa. See that right here? This box says the rank in green. And that's called Rev Seller. R-E-V Seller. I think it's like $100 a year. Don't quote me on that because I've had it for so many years and it just keeps renewing. Love this tool because I don't have to dig for the ASIN. I don't have to dig for, all I have to do is put in the price. Okay, let's say my sell price on this is $49. And then it, my buy price is, let's say, $15, and it deducts the fees, and it tells me I net $10.28. These are made up numbers, okay? But this tool right here called Rev Seller, R-E-V-S-E-L-L-E-R, is an absolute must-have. Gotta have this tool. Super, it's, if I could choose just one tool out of everything, and I couldn't have any other tool, it'd be one of 2. It'd be this and Keepa. And then that's the next tool I'm gonna show you. If I scroll down, how many of you are familiar with Keepa? This thing right here. Do you all know what Keepa? Do you know what Keepa is? Put 1 yes or 2 no. Okay, some RA, arbitrage, wholesale. Yes, I do use Ace Inspector Pro, and I use multiple tools. So hopefully everybody is familiar with Keepa. Thank you. Keepa is absolutely must have Keepa, must use Keepa, and what you must understand how to read a Keepa chart. This is the Keepa chart. Now, Keepa used to be a completely paid tool, which is insane that it was free because it provides so much value. They just this year, a few months ago, started charging for it. Worth every penny, not that expensive. And again, if it helps you make even one buying decision where you're making money, you've totally paid for the tool. So I won't go into the details of how to use Keepa in this, but just know that Keepa is one of the things you're going to look at before you decide whether or not you source any products, okay? So those are 2 of my favorite tools, Rev Seller and Keepa. I've got a lot of stuff installed on this page. I probably should have uninstalled, but yeah, I use quite a few tools. So we're just going to go back now, and then let's see what other tool I have. I'm using Ace Inspector Pro, Helium 10, and Jungle Scout Chrome extension. So I've got multiple tools, and you know, I found that none of these tools are completely 100% accurate. It's not possible when you're pulling Amazon's data. It's just, they interpret it different ways. So I like to take the average of a couple of different tools. I don't rely on any one tool. I rely on my brain to make informed decisions. And the more information I have about a product, then the more informed my decision is. And I also love merchant words for keyword research to see what search volume is on Amazon. We're not going to go into merchant words today, but in a lot of my other videos, I do go in depth into merchant words. So check out my other videos on YouTube, and you can binge watch me and learn. I think I just did a recent one on creating keyword optimized listing titles, and we dug into merchant words pretty deep. So just know that these are my favorite tools: Keepa, Rev Seller, Jungle Scout extension, Helium 10 extension, Ace Inspector Pro, and merchant words are my big ones. So any questions? Go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. Let me make sure that I've got all of these questions answered before we go further. You're learning it. I do not do Keepa training. There is a gentleman out there, I think it's, I want to say Stephen Smotherman, actually has something called How to Keep a Camel. Reach out to Stephen Smotherman. I hope he's the creator of that, but it is a training on how to use Keepa. And Stephen's been around for a long time in this industry, so I think he is probably provides some really great content. So yeah, so I guess Keepa, I don't know, I bought it for a year. I don't buy anything for a month. I'll buy it for a year if they give me a discount, because Keepa is a tool that I'm going to use all the time, and it keeps me from making buying mistakes. That's the issue. If you don't have the Keepa data, there's a good chance you're going to lose a ton more money than the cost of the tool each year. That keeps you safe. Against the more data you have about products, the better off you are. So we're on Amazon here, and what a lot of people do is they start with bestsellers, and a lot of the trainings will tell you start with bestsellers. Well, that means everybody else is starting with bestsellers too. So we'll start with bestsellers, but I'll give you my spin to it. So the best-selling products on Amazon are going to look at the toys, right? And then of course the Amazon products. But I'm going to dig into what did I say? Non-sexy, right? I'm going to dig into a non-sexy category. So on the left-hand side, you'll see departments. Tell me any of these departments that kind of scream non-sexy to you. Shout them out in the chat. As I take a slurp of hot tea. Put them in the chat. Which one of these look, there are multiple of them. Pet supplies, that's kind of sexy. Can't do gift cards. Hardware, tools, can't do software. Electronics is totally a sexy category. That's like the second, you know, toys, and then electronics, then books. Tools and home improvement, industrial and scientific, love automotive. Helen loves automotive. Let's go. Now, I think, Helen, do newbies need to be ungated in automotive? Is that a gated category? Do you know? I'm ungated in pretty much everything because I've been selling on Amazon for a few years. Lots of ungated items in automotive. Well, we're going to go into automotive. I've never actually explored automotive. I usually go to industrial and scientific. I love that category. I also like sports and outdoors, tools and home improvement. Those are some of my personal favorite categories. Arts, crafts, and sewing. Tamara, that is a really interesting category. I don't dig around too much in arts, crafts, and sewing, and here's why. Thank you for that segue. That takes me to my next topic, which is product criteria. So in a lot of trainings, they're going to tell you to look for products that are, you know, $15 to $20 and up. I look for products that are $25, even $30 and up. So I don't want the lower priced products, and by lower price, anything under $25. And a lot of the products in arts, crafts, and sewing, I think, are lower priced products, like under $20. That's just, I think, because I haven't dug into that category. I could be completely wrong. So don't take my word for it. Go do research yourself in arts, crafts, and sewing and see if there's products that you can find wholesale suppliers for that are above $25. And the reason I like it above $25 and preferably higher is because I have more wiggle room to do pay-per-click ads, to adjust my price if I needed to adjust it, to clear out inventory or to get the buy box, etc. So the higher my return on investment is, the more wiggle room I have to drive traffic, to drive sales. So let's go over Sheila. Sheila's gated in automotive, but Helen likes automotive. I like office supplies too. I was in there earlier and I was looking at lighting because I'm redoing my office, right? And those price points in there, you know, $50, $100. Well, Helen says she loves automotive. So I've not explored automotive, so let's go over there and see what we can see. So this is completely unscripted. I didn't like go look for go look for product for this presentation. So this could go downhill fast. We'll see what we come up with. Okay, so on the left-hand side, I'm going to dig down even further because it's giving me bestsellers in automotive. You know, clearly number one is $5.94. This is another tool I really like. I think it's called, what is this tool called, guys? Anybody have this? It is DS Amazon Quick View Extended. It's a mouthful, but it's a free Chrome extension. DS Amazon Quick View Extended. So you can just Google DS Amazon Quick View Extended Chrome and install this guy. And when you get a grid back of results, when you search for something on Amazon, it's going to pull up the information, the ASIN, the price history, how many sellers are on it, if it's sold by Amazon, right there without having to click through to the listing. But when I'm going to go over here, I like things like replacement parts. Because remember, I'm looking for things that they need and want that are non-sexy and they're consumable. And frankly, if you've got an automobile that's not working, like right now, I've got one of my Honda minivans that need actuators, side door actuators, and you know, ignition pins and all sorts of stuff. That van's not going anywhere or doing me any good until I fix that problem. So I'm a motivated buyer for replacement parts, for example. Motorcycle and ATV, this could be, again, you know, fixing the vehicle, but also it's getting to be nice weather out in Arizona. It's cooler and more people are out in their motorcycles, right? So they have more of a need and a want for it now to fix their motorcycle. So let's go to replacement parts. And instead of looking at the #1 bestsellers, I'm going to scroll down and go for the, because, you know, I'm not going to be able to compete for ones that are ranked #1 in the subcategory, right? Because everybody else is looking at the same data. But I'm going to scroll all the way down, go to the next page, and what I'm looking for, here are the criteria I'm looking for. I'm looking for potential. So I'm looking for listings that maybe aren't that great, that have potential to increase the quality of the listing in order to increase the sales conversion when somebody shows up on that listing. When somebody lands on that listing, I want to be able to increase the amount of sales that that listing generates. I'm looking for a certain price point, anything over $25. I'm looking for, I don't want a listing where I have to compete against 30 other FBA sellers in the, you know, they're all selling in the same price range as I am. So I'm going to look for a smaller amount of sellers, but not just one seller, because that usually means it's a private label product. And I want no Amazon on the product. There is a caveat to that, and we can do that in another training. There's actually kind of an art and a science to selling on listings where Amazon is a seller but goes out of stock. So you can kind of get the sales in there when they go out of stock. But that's like the next level. I don't want you to start with that if you're just starting with wholesale, because you can get in trouble if you don't play that right. That's kind of like playing poker with Amazon. I want no private label, so because clearly I can't sell somebody's private label product. And I'm looking for reviews potential. So maybe something that, like this listing here has 12,850 reviews, right? But this one only has like 439. So I might be able to dig, or this is only 4-star reviews, that's 4.5. Maybe I'm looking for something that's got 3.5 stars reviews, and the reviews are going to give me information about what could be improved in that product. Here's like 3.5 stars, okay? But it's sold by Amazon. But I'm looking for something like this, so I can read the reviews and say, okay, what's going on with this product, and how can I talk to the supplier and help them solve whatever that problem is in exchange for having an exclusive on that listing, for example. Okay, and then I'm looking for a listing optimization potential, which would be a listing that, and I'll show you, we'll find some examples in here, okay, to illustrate these things that I'm telling you. Listing optimization potential would be a bad title, and by bad title I mean it's not a keyword-rich title. It doesn't have enhanced bullet points. It's not enhanced brand content. It only has 1 or 2 images, no lifestyle images, etc. Okay, so let's dig around in here and see what we can find. So first, right now I'm looking at price points. Clearly, I don't want to sell something at $3.26, right? Here is a lot of lower priced. One FBA seller. This might be a private label product, but if I can't find anything in the bestseller that meet my criteria, this one's kind of interesting. It's sold by Amazon though. Flame King 2-stage auto changeover propane gas regulator. Looks like it probably goes to a grill. Let's click on that, even though Amazon's on it. And here's why. I'm going to show you why I'm doing this. Because then I can come down. Amazon's on it. Let me look at Keepa here. See what kind of data Keepa gives me. And what I'm looking for is to see if the price holds steady or if the price goes up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm looking for price stability. Okay, so the price has been pretty stable at $43.99, except for this little blip here, $39.99, and then right back up. The sales rank has been very consistent, right? And now I'm looking, when I scroll back and forth here, I'm looking at these little boxes. So the sales rank is the green box, and the price is $43.99 on that little purple box in the upper left. I can't point to it with my cursor because it moves. So I'm looking for consistency of rank, consistency of price, all right? Now clearly Amazon's the only seller on this, it looks like. So, well, it's the only FBA seller. Let's click on other sellers on Amazon, and there's two that look like they are merchant fulfilled. But I'm going to use this listing as an example of how you can improve on a listing, even though this isn't the product that we might go after. So do you see how the bullet points are just kind of meh? They could completely be fleshed out with better keywords. This doesn't, okay, it says for RVs, vans, trailers. I bet you their third word in here is the model number. So we would need to verify whether or not people are they searching for this model number, or are they searching for a product that will solve a problem? And what is the problem? What are they typing in to find this product? So we could probably make this listing a little bit better. But what I'm going to do to find similar products that meet our criteria of Amazon not being on the listing is I'm going to come down here and look at what other items do customers buy after viewing this, and see if I can find some other products and sponsored products related to items. I'm looking for some other products that people have bought or expressed an interest in that I might be able to source. Customers also shopped for. So let's just look at let's see, there's a Camco propane double stage for $42.88. Let's click on that. So it shows that it's $19,000 in automotive, $42.80 is a price point. So far, so good. We can definitely improve the listing details. And let's see, and I love this RV appliances. Now the RV market is a super, super niche hot market. So we want to see who's selling this, and let's check Keepa. We've got a fairly consistent sales rank here. The price was $25.78 all through the summer, but now it has popped up. So to almost double. Now it's 42, 38, 42. So I'm concerned that this price was 25 bucks all the way through, and then 29 bucks all the way through the end of mid-September. And then the price popped up to 42.80. So this is a teeny bit of a red flag. So I'd want to know that I can get this thing at a price that allows me to make money when the price is $25.78. And I want to know why that price popped up there. So it looks like Amazon is, let's see how many sellers we have that are FBA. Amazon's on it. And what I'm looking for is just prime sellers, because the prime sellers would be my competition. And I want them to be selling, I want them to be selling within a couple of percentage points of the buy box price. And those I would consider competition. So these guys I wouldn't consider a competition, because look at the price difference, $72.46. If I could get that product and sell it for $42.80 and Amazon weren't the seller, then I could potentially share the buy box with one other seller in this price range. So this is just to give you an idea of what I mean by optimizing a listing. But I really like this target market. So the RV market, because how many people have an RV? or have ever rented an RV to go travel around for a summer, put in the chat if you have an RV or have rented an RV. Me, Laura, Ann, Helen, go Lady RV owners, go Lady RV owners, awesome. Okay, so for those of you who have ever RV'd, I'm sure you have experienced at some point something breaking down in your RV, and how, you know, especially if you're living out of your RV. I know a lady who just lives out of her RV and travels around the country. She follows 70-degree weather, which is really cool. She's an Amazon seller. So it seems to me that the RV market would have a lot of potential for parts that people have, instead of just, oh, I want that part, they need it to solve a problem. So looking over here, frequently bought together, takes a minute for all these tools to load. Sorry about that. Probably should have turned some of them off. Here's a Marshall Excelsior 2-stage auto vert bulk. Don't know what that means, but let's see. It's an Amazon choice and not a great listing. It's got a good rank, 2850. This part here, the bullet points, could definitely be improved. There's only one photograph. So this is an example of a listing that could be improved to potentially get more sales. But let's see if Amazon's on it, and also see, now Amazon Warehouse is on it, which is used like new. So it's not, they're not a new seller. Amazon is on it as new here. So there's a couple of different Prime sellers, and then Amazon is on this. So what I'm trying to do is find product here that Amazon is not on. Let's go back here. Let's kind of back up a little bit to the grid search and see if we can find something that Amazon's not on, so I can show you what I'm talking about. My goal for this training is to find a couple of products that that Amazon is not on, that you could potentially go source or start as a sourcing point. Let me scooch over here to chat. I see people over in the chat asking questions. Anne lives in her RV, just upgraded the interior lights to LED. I love it. How would you improve the bullet points? That is a really great question, Laura. I can give you some ideas. Give me a second and I'll cycle back around to that, because I want to follow up with Anne, who says she lives in her RV and she just upgraded the interior lights to LED. So I'm going to search for RV interior lights. RV interior lighting, and see what comes up. And I'm searching in automotive parts and sources. So do any of these look familiar? These look like private label. Sponsored products are use good keywords to find from research as well as emotional language at Laura. Thank you, Casey, for jumping in there. You totally rock. All right, so if I'm an RV owner and I'm looking for interior LED lights, these are some of the things that are going to come up. Let's see if we can find one. This is interesting. Dream Lighting, 12-volt LED glass ceiling light for RV, boat, trailer, interior decor, $30 price point, $29. I don't see any seller on it. So it looks like it is a variation listing. Okay, so whoever was asking me about what good bullet points look like, these are better. This light is designed for blah, 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 blah. RV, caravan, motorhome, indoor lighting. You see how this is keyword rich, but it's written in the form of short sentences that answer questions. What are its uses? What's the voltage of it? And then it goes on to describe the light itself: stylish, artistic glass, bright output, even light distribution. So these are the features of the products. High quality LED chips built in, efficient heat dissipation, ensures safe use and long. This is actually, these are really good bullet points, okay? So let's see who is selling this sucker. My RV Accessories. Now, I'm not sure if this is a private label or not, but there's one seller on it. They are not FBA. So we would want to find out who the manufacturer is. It says Dream Lighting. So I'm not sure if this is private label or not. We've got 57 customer reviews. So what we want to do is dig deeper on this, okay? And find out if Dream Lighting, I would do a Google search for this manufacturer, if that's indeed the name of the manufacturer, and the word wholesale after it. to find who the supplier is if it's not a private label product. Normally, if there's 2 or 3 FBA sellers on it, it's a good chance it's not a private label product, but this is a merchant fulfilled. There's no FBA seller on it. It's got a 35,000 rank in automotive, and it's a $30 price point. So this is worth exploring further to see if you could source this wholesale. So I'm not going to go into how to find wholesale suppliers in this video because that's a whole nother training, but suffice it to say, I will be doing, I'm working on an in-depth training on how to negotiate with and lock down brand owners and wholesale suppliers for products like this. Today, we're just going to look for product ideas that we can then kind of branch off of to find other product ideas. So what I would do in your case, I would fire up Excel, or I use Google Sheets, and I would just copy this URL just up to here where you've got the ASIN in it. So in the search bar, you're just going to copy all the way up to the ASIN and then pop that new Google spreadsheet so you can revisit it or have a VA just go and see if they can find the supplier, the wholesale supplier, the brand owner for this product. Okay, so one down. We're going to look at Keepa here, and it looks like that price is holding steady, and the rank is holding steady. So this would be a product that I would explore to see if I could find a supplier for it. So this is kind of cool. Let's, just because this stood out to me, let's go over to this one. So now what I'm doing is just randomly clicking. No, I'm scrolling down to explore this market a little bit further. And by market, I mean somebody who's looking for interior lighting for their RV. Because as the searcher, as somebody who's looking to buy things like this, that's kind of the process. We're digging around in these pages, scrolling down to seeing what else did people buy, what else can I, what other lights are available to me, and they're coming down here and they're clicking on these products to see what else they can put in their RV. So I'm trying to emulate a customer's search behavior as I explore these individual listings. Now, again, as I said in the beginning of this, there are tools, paid tools like Helium 10, for example, that an Ace Inspector Pro and Jungle Scout, that you can buy their tools and set up your search criteria within their tool, and they'll go to Amazon and scrape all this data for you. But I wanted you to understand what you were looking at from a customer's perspective. I believe it's people first. Once you understand, and you can put your customer's hat on your head, and you understand what they're looking at and why they're searching for something and what their search habits are, it makes it easier for you to evaluate products that you can then go source wholesale, in my opinion. Okay, so let's go back and see if we've got any questions here. Let me stop the share and see if whoa, okay, here we go. Lots of questions. So how would you improve the bullet points, Laura? I hope we answered some of your questions there. I'll show you a listing that has really good another listing that has good bullet points, so you can get an idea of what bad looks like versus good. You look in the review section to find out language buyers are using, and then using the description, writing bullet points. Yahoo, Casey, awesome. And I just did, like I said, a video, I think 2 weeks ago, on deep keyword research and writing keyword-rich listing titles. Watch that one, and that will give you an idea of how to do the bullets as well. A bunch of RV items are being used in tiny homes. So Helen says a bunch of RV items are being used in tiny homes, which is a huge growing market. And Amazon is now selling tiny house kits, just FYI. Helen, thank you for that. We're going to go over there and do a cold search for tiny homes. And then we're going to branch down, just kind of dig down into one of those listings to see what people are buying for their tiny homes and see what we can find. So Linda says, wow, Helen, that's awesome. Laura says, we answered her questions, good. And Anne wants to get rid of her LED lights. I'm sure you can find something on Amazon that would meet your needs. So we're going to go dig into tiny homes. Let me share the screen again. And go ahead and put yes to verify that you can see my Amazon screen again. And remember, when you're searching for something, if you've dug deep down into a category, you have to change this drop down to all departments again if you're going to start a brand new search, or it'll only search in the department that you were actually just in. So when buying wholesale, is it necessary to have an address such as warehouse versus our house to start? No, Carol, it's not. But I would highly recommend that selling online as an e-commerce seller, you are running a business. So treat it from the beginning as a business, not a hobby. So you can set up a commercial address at like a UPS store. I use for overflow during fourth quarter, so I don't have to rent a whole warehouse the whole year. I use a storage facility up the street that has a huge rolling gate in the back of the facility. So my suppliers can roll their trucks in, and then my storage unit is the second one. It's this giant storage unit, and they just lower down the lift gate and they roll with the pallet jack. I just received 19 pallets in the past 6 or 7 weeks of different products for Q4. And beyond, not just Q4. So they just roll those pallets in the storage facility. I have also, since I don't have an HOA, I've also 1 year, 3 years ago, I bought a 20-foot container and parked that sucker on my property and received, and again, that was for Q4. I only did it for 8 months. Then I sold the container and made my money back plus $200. So I had a container on my property that we were prepping and shipping from. Now keep in mind, I'm in Arizona, so it's really nice here today. It's like 88 degrees. If it's snowing where you are, you just have to kind of gauge. You can also use your garage to do prepping and shipping, or in an ideal world, if the numbers make sense, you can just use a prep service. Okay, just have everything sent to a prep service. But when you're starting a new business, treat it like a business from the beginning. No commingling of funds. Create a separate business account. Create a business name, an LLC, or whatever structure you're. Hire an attorney just to tell you how to best structure this from the beginning, with the goal of having this completely separate from your personal finances right from the beginning. I hope that helps. I know a lot of you already know that, but for the 1 or 2 people who are new to selling online here, I just want to make sure that you treat this as a business from day one, and you'll have a whole lot less headaches, on day 2, 3, 4, and 5,000. So Helen says, yeah, I did a couple of videos receiving pallets into that storage facility in 114-degree heat a couple weeks ago. You guys can, again, binge watch me on YouTube and see the criteria I used. As a short video up there on what criteria I use to choose a storage facility, all right? Because you want to straight in, straight out. I won't reiterate it here, but I did a quick video on that, and I showed you exactly what I look for when looking for a storage facility to fit my needs as an e-commerce seller. So Laura says she uses pack mail to receive packages, and they'll also receive pallets from me. Now, I did try the local UPS store, but they wanted to charge me like $10 a box to receive them, which was kind of silly, and they couldn't receive pallets. So there are a lot of different ways to skin the cat, I think is what we're trying to say here. There's a lot of ways to solve problems that in this business. And here's another thing I did. I had 3 pallets showing up, and it was going to rain. So when the truck came, I went up the street. I ordered a budget rental truck. I think a 24-footer. 16-footer, whatever. And when the trucking company showed up, he backed up to my rental truck and he lowered down his lift gate and then rolled those 3 pallets into those truck, and it was going to rain that weekend. So we staggered the pallets so we could just break them down, inventory them, and prep them in the truck itself. And then we drove the truck a few days later to UPS and dropped everything off. So my point in telling you this is there are all sorts of ways to get the job done. Don't let an obstacle stop you. Just be creative. All right, what else? Storage unit accepts shipments, which allows for shipping to commercial address, which is cheaper than residential. True. Also, for one-time shipments, some storage units run $1 a month. It's about $35, helpful for short-term shipments. That's true. I negotiated for my large unit 50% off. For the large unit, it's $110 a month, and it's a double unit, and I can fit, I think I've got 14 pallets. 14 pallets in that unit I can fit, 7 and 7 with an aisle down the middle. So I don't want to get too far off of the topic of this, which is how to find products to source wholesale. So you guys can go ahead and read in the chat. Wholesale address requesting, getting wholesale accounts, was concerned about the address to give them when I applied. No, you don't have to be concerned about the address. I give out my home address when I'm receiving pallets in my home. Yes, the rental truck idea was awesome. It definitely solved the problem. I was going to prep everything in the driveway, but because of the weather forecast, I couldn't. So I solved the problem pretty easy by renting a truck. So let's go back. Please say yes if you can see the Amazon screen on your screen right now with that light on it. Yes. Okay, good. Let's go search for tiny homes. So I remember I chose the drop down all departments, tiny home accessories. See what happens. For giggles, I just typed in tiny home accessories, because if I have a tiny home and let's say I bought one of Amazon's tiny home and it's being built right now, I want accessories for it, but I don't quite know what I need. So I love this rolling slim laundry basket. All right, this is it's one FBA seller, great rank. I'm not too crazy about the price point, but this is an example for those of you who want to do private label. By the way, guys, I am 80% wholesale and bundles and 20% private label. I am building 2 private label brands, both of which are being built on and off Amazon. But most of my Amazon inventory is 80% wholesale and bundles. And what that allows me to do is fund the wholesale accounts that are regular every month. That funds my private label products growth. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, or skin Amazon, as they say. So this looks like a private label product right here. This guy right here, if you guys are doing any private label, this is kind of interesting to do a series of products for tiny homes. This is, I can kind of tell by the names, like Sam Mart, Caro ES, that just sounds like a private label brand, right? And also it just says one FBA seller. So I'm gonna look to see if there's anything that's got multiple FBA sellers. And I'm looking here at the yellow and the red to see if something's got multiple FBA sellers, which tells me that it is not a private label. Like this one here, Primitives by Kathy, I actually know the supplier, but their price point's super low. So you would have to do a bundle of Primitives by Kathy, and it's pretty easy to set up an account with Primitives by Kathy, by the way. I'm not sure what silk satin roll has to do with RVs, but here's an interesting, this little guy here, mini projector with tripod, 2 FBA sellers, QKK, that looks like a private label brand. Trying to find something here that meets our criteria. Here we go. I'm liking that. That's a private label brand, but look at the solar panel lighting kit. It'd be kind of interesting to do a private label brand like that, but I don't want to go into, I keep saying I don't want to go into private label. This is interesting. Nature's Head composting toilet with spider handle by Nature's Head. So Nature's Head is the brand, $960, 2 FBA sellers, a rank of 79. Let's see how many they are selling a month. Now I get to show you my Jungle Scout extension here. I just pull this up and I'm going to click on Jungle Scout to see how many they're selling a month. Well, it's 114,000. So they're selling $26,000 a month in toilets. 27 of these a month. Interesting. Now, the problem is if somebody returns one of these and it doesn't work, you know, that's a little bit higher risk, but I wanted to show you an example of, all right, so the price point is very stable. The rank is anywhere between 47 and 200. So the rank is kind of up, down, up, down, up, down. But the sales price is pretty stable. Interesting, right? Now, then what I'm going to do is scroll down here and look for other products, okay? So we're going to branch out to see what other products are being sold to this market. So I know a $960 product is outside of a lot of people's price point that they can afford to do wholesale. So I'm going to back out of that again and look for more products. Now, again, when you buy one of the paid tools like Helium 10, you just type in your criteria and it just it scrapes all this data from Amazon and dumps it into a spreadsheet for you so you can quickly identify products. This is the manual way, but once you understand the manual way, like this guy right here, that looks like a private label. I see him for clothes. That might be a private label. Okay, that's pretty funny. Beard ornaments, guys. See how easy it is to go off on a tangent on Amazon? This is interesting. The Brother P Touch to organize your condiments and stuff in your tiny home. This is interesting too. Box like this. Sold by Amazon. A lot of stuff is sold by Amazon, right? Mood Lab Fairy Garden. That's kind of cute. How many sellers on that? 1 FBA seller. These are sponsored. 2 FBA sellers. Play Tape Town Cars, Roads, Curves, but the price point is $8.99. But this one's kind of interesting. See if that's a private label seller or if it's potentially a wholesale product. Mood Lab Fairy Garden. So what I would do is search to see if Mood Lab Fairy Garden, if Mood Lab is the name of the company, and see if, and now I'm also going to click on, see it's by Mood Lab, that's the brand. I'm going to click on that and see if Mood Lab has anything else posted on Amazon. It looks like they do have a series of products. So then I would go off and go to Google and type in Mood Lab Wholesale to see if I can find the wholesale supplier of these products. Does that make sense? Okay, so hopefully this gave you some inspiration. I'm going to give you guys some homework so you can dig in and start playing on Amazon yourself. Love these great tips, Barbara. Awesome, I'm glad. So here is your homework. And remember, every time we find products like this, I'm going to go back to Mood Labs and I'm going to do a little bit of research on my own to see if I can score an account with Mood Labs, because that looks kind of, that whole product line looks interesting to me. So here's your homework. Create a list of your criteria. Maybe your criteria is that your sourcing criteria is that you want products between $50 and $100. You want to sell products that are no less than $50 up to $100, and that's going to be your sweet point. And you want to focus on automotive or industrial or toys or groceries, right? There are actually $50 grocery products. I know for a fact because I bought some Manuka honey, which is this really exclusive honey from Australia, from this bee in Australia that's only found there, that has great, nutritional qualities. And I paid $48 for a jar like this. I'm your target market. I'm your girl for Manuka honey, right? So I'm going to stop the video on everybody here. So there are actually grocery items for $50. So your homework is to write a list of your buying criteria. What works best for you? And then just start, download the free extensions for, and also the paid ones for, like Keepa is definitely, gotta have Keepa, and RevSeller. Those are my 2 most important tools that short circuit when I'm searching on Amazon. It gives me instant data for me to make a decision whether I should stay on that listing or move on to the next one, okay? So Keepa, and by the way, there is a free version of Keepa, but it doesn't give you all of the information, but for the price point of it, it'll save you time and it'll save you money for making a bad buying decision. So get Keepa and get RevSeller. Those are my 2 favorites. And you can download the free Helium 10 extension and the free Jungle Scout. I'm not sure if the Jungle Scout extension is free or not, but there is a free version of Helium 10 you can download. And that's your homework for tonight, is to grab those tools and then make a list of your buying criteria, what works for your business. And third is, if you haven't already set up your business, as one of you said in the chat, go ahead and make sure you do that. Get your LLC and get your account set up, whatever. Okay, do you guys have any questions in the chat about how to explore for products in niche markets on Amazon? And again, we're talking about finding niche products, not trying to sell everything that everybody else is selling. We want to find fanatical niche markets that serve a need or feed a passion. If you have any questions in the chat, I'll read them off and answer them here. Go ahead and ask them in the chat. What are some of your favorite niche markets? What we explored RV owners, we explored tiny house owners, which was kind of cool. Any other questions in the chat about how to find niche markets? Helen says, once you find a new product, have you had success for other products from that company? Absolutely, Helen. Yes. I actually like it when they have multiple products, because then I can place a larger order, which allows me to negotiate better prices. And it also allows me, if they have multiple products that are related to each other, I can work with them to create a bundle of multiple products from that same brand. And Laura asks, would you be bundling the items you are finding or single listings? Laura, it depends. I think you all know that I love bundles, that I'm the creator of the bundlemasterclass.com. I love bundling because it lets me own the listing. And it also lets me not just own the listing, but it's a win-win-win. Amazon sees that I'm bringing new listings to their marketplace, which they love, and they see that I'm trying to create an amazing customer experience for their customer by putting products together in a bundle that feed their passion or meet their needs better than the individual product is. And Amazon loves it when we wow their customers as seller. And then the third is I own the listing. Okay, when I create my bundles correctly, nobody can hop on my listing and compete against me. So I solve a lot of problems by bundling and open up, not just solve problems, but I open up opportunities by creating bundles. Okay, so great tips, thank you. Can you bundle brand name items? Yes, you can. And if you go to bundlemasterclass.com/bonus, there's a whole list of the types of things that we do related to bundles that you can kind of just take a look at. You can also binge watch me on YouTube, where I have a lot of how to bundle, how to bundle profitably on Amazon. Binge watch those so we're not headed into because that's like a whole 2-hour webinar if I were to start going into bundling right now. But binge watch me on YouTube. I've got a bunch of bundle videos up there that you can take a look at and learn from and implement today. Or it says, I'm creating a bundle. You guys love bundles, don't you? For one of you, items is a composition book created, has been selling off and on. Good for you. Or using GTIN, criteria to get one. I always use GTIN exemptions on my bundles. That's what Amazon requests us to do. In fact, it's like this fast to get GTIN exemptions. I apply for as many categories as I can. I hit submit, 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 submit. I go make myself a tea. I come back, I hit refresh on that screen, and they're all approved. So I've never had a GTIN exemption that's been rejected. So I'd say go ahead and apply for your GTIN exemptions quickly. It looks like you guys want to learn more about bundling. So go to bundlemasterclass.com and you can, I've got some videos on there. I've got a free lesson from the Bundle Masterclass on there and some free webinars or some free videos on how I actually created 3 bundles. That video's on there. And if you have any other questions about finding fanatical niche markets to find wholesale products for, drop that in the chat so we can stay focused, because if we get off on bundling, it can be confusing to the folks who think they're watching something about wholesale. Okay, so love the niche concept. Absolutely solid approach. Thanks. You're welcome. Let me drop one last tip for you on wholesaling, focusing on a niche with wholesale. When you do that, now, how many of you, raise your hand in the chat, say me, have ever experienced the problem or heard people complaining about experiencing the problem that they can't get wholesale suppliers, they can't get brand owners to let you sell their product? They say, nope, no more Amazon sellers. Hear it a lot, right? I have tons of ways, dozens and dozens and dozens of tactics that I use. I do not get turned down. As an Amazon seller, I do not get turned down. In fact, I have suppliers who now reach out to me when they have a new product that's coming in on a container or they're designing. They contact me and say, do you want an exclusive on this? Because of the way that I've developed a relationship with them. And this is something I'm going to be talking a lot about, guys. Look for the new, all right, I'm going to drop it here for the first time. It's called wholesaleelite.com. I'm creating an in-depth training teaching you guys how I develop relationships with brand owners, find the right person to talk to at a brand, have that initial conversation that gets them to say yes before they even, I never get through that. I never get stopped by one of those gatekeepers that other Amazon sellers get stopped at. I have dozens of ways that I have successfully used to get brand owners to see that I can help them build their business on Amazon and off Amazon. And focusing on their category, their niche, is one of the ways I do it. So if I go to the brand owner and I say, hey, look, we sell your competitors' products. We carry products in your niche. We create bundles in your niche. We understand the market that you're trying to serve in with your product. So for example, I'm a little bit on a soapbox here, but let's say we're going after the tiny house market and brand owners that have products for people who have built or bought a tiny home, okay? And they have products for that market. I'm gonna go after 5, 6, 10, 20 different suppliers, brand owners that are going after that same niche, that have products. By going after, I mean, they have products that serve the tiny house niche. I'm gonna approach all of them and say, look, after I do deep research on understanding what's the trend in tiny homes, what's the potential market growth in tiny homes, and you can find all that stuff on Google, by the way. I'm going to put together a little research report saying here are the trends in your industry, and we're planning on representing 20 of the biggest manufacturers and brand owners in this niche, and we'd like you to be one of them. Do you see how I made that invitation, inviting them to allow me to sell their product instead of saying, please, can I sell your product? I switched the conversation. I did a pattern interrupt, and I changed the conversation from the beginning, initial communication. So anyway, that's me on my soapbox a little bit. I'm gonna back off the soapbox, but this is why it's important to focus on a niche, understand a niche, that market, and the different players in that niche, so that you can then approach those brand owners from a perspective with a conversation that it shows them that you have an interest and an understanding of their business. Okay, any questions in the chat? I was in a little bit of a soapbox there. No questions. Okay, have I completely flummoxed you guys? I hope not. If you have any questions about building a brand, this has been fabulous. Thanks, Barbara. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate it. If you have any questions about finding wholesale products, locking down wholesale suppliers, having a completely different approach to what everybody and his uncle teaches about selling on Amazon, having a different approach to that. Do you know a lot of people aren't teaching you the things that really work for them because they don't want to create their competition? I'm going to teach you all that stuff, all that hidden stuff that big sellers don't want you to know because they have a scarcity mentality. I think there's abundance everywhere. I think there's totally opportunity for every single one of us to make money as e-commerce sellers and to serve a market and build a business for ourselves that we can either have cash flow long-term or to sell. I think everybody has this opportunity. And I've been selling online since 1996. I've been selling on Amazon since 2015. I've got multiple businesses. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been there, done that, lost it all a couple of times, built it back a couple of times. So I'm coming at you, I'm coming with information that is from a completely different perspective than somebody who's, went from working at a grocery store to doing retail arbitrage and is now trying to teach you how to sell on Amazon. All right. My perspective is how to build a business that's sustainable and sellable. So go to freewholesalenewsletter.com. freewholesalenewsletter.com. Grab my newsletter, take the survey, join me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/group/DealDiva, and click the subscribe button below on YouTube. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'm happy to answer them. I hope this has been useful to you guys. Let me say goodbye to everybody in the chat. Yes, Linda, my voice is coming back. I haven't coughed really once. I'm very proud of that. Agree, abundance to all, scarcity is lack. There's room for all of us. I love listening to you teach. I'm very motivated now. Yes, very informative as always. Love your enthusiasm. This has been fabulous. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you guys for that little bit of an ego boost. That's very sweet. Thank you all. Where can we send our questions again? Put them in the comments on YouTube, or on I'm going to send you all an email with this replay. If you've signed up for freewholesalenewsletter.com, it'll be in there as well. But you can put them in the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/DealDiva. Deal Diva. And put your questions in the group. Anything about e-commerce, not just Amazon, anything about e-commerce. And I'm in there every single day, and I will answer to the best of my ability. Thank you all for being with me today. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the group. Talk to you guys later. Bye. First time, so good stuff.